Welcome back to season 2 premiere of the House of Faith and Fashion on Connect Network TV. I'm your host, Toby Rubenstein. So far, we've had an amazing discussion with the CFDA's own Mark Karamzada. And now I have artist, painter, illustrator, storyteller, designer, Rebecca Moses. Hi, Rebecca. So great to have you here.
Hi, Toby. It's so good to be here with you.
I have to just make a fashion moment. Your turbans are just legendary. Your look, an exotic beauty. Really, honestly. I think women should really compliment other women more. I think it's really important, right? Don't you think?
But women don't know how to receive compliments. So I'm going to give you a little trick out there. Okay.
Go.
Okay. So when someone says to you, "Oh, you look so beautiful," what do most women do? They go, "Oh no," and they always kind of like don't know how to accept it.
Right.
This is how you accept it. Oh, you're just saying that because it's true.
You're good. You're good. I was just going to stop at thank you. But you just went a whole step further, and I really, really like it. Oh my God,
Women don't know how to accept compliments.
That's true. It's kind of true. Yeah, you're right. But let's get into our discussion. You've had such a long, successful career that just doesn't stop. From the fashion industry, working with really top designers, and then going in, you're just a creative being. That's it. So how did you start this discovery of Rebecca Moses, the creative being?
Wow. I always wanted to be a fashion designer since the very young age of like a young teen. And for me, it was a passion, which I think it has to be. I think that when you really want to do something as challenging as being a fashion designer, you
Yes.
have to want more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I skipped a year in high school. I got accepted to a few different universities and decided to stay in New York and attend the Fashion Institute of Technology. I stayed there 2 years. At that time, they had just had the AA program, the associate program. But when I was graduating, they went into the BFA program. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm so anxious to work because I'm a working girl. I love to make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
I got out, I got a job designing coats and suits for a license of Pierre Cardin. Um, and my first job was to go to Paris and see the haute couture and Pierre Cardin, and it was like a fairy tale. When you're young, you are insane. You have no idea how you can't fall down because you're on the bottom already.
Mhm. I totally understand. But listen, you had an amazing upstart with somebody like Pierre Cardin. I mean, we are talking about one of the major fashion designers of that era. How do you manage to constantly stay relevant in the fashion industry?
It's survival techniques, and
Mm.
my life has gone through many, many challenges, and and I've had to go on alternate roads, because life is various journeys. And I was here in New York. I
Mhm.
struggled a lot. I mean, the press loved me, which I was always touched by, but keeping the financial security, finding honest partners, dealing with things that, as a manufacturer, dealing with unions, dealing with all these things, you're never prepared for. And after some real challenges, and I can say that, I've got tough skin,
Mhm.
I fell in love with an Italian and I moved to Italy. And that's when my life really switched gears completely. And I became the creative director of a house called Jenny, which
Oh.
was designed before I got there by Gianni Versace.
Mhm.
And Johnny had designed Jenny for 18 years, but his brand was already becoming so successful, and
Yes.
it was the early 90s, and globalization was just a thought. It hadn't fashion was not global in the early 90s.
No.
And there were a few American designers who got to Europe, um, and all of a sudden we were being looked at. And that's not easy because, Europe, there's a great deal of snobbery, especially in the early 90s.
Hmm.
And we really shook things up a bit. So when I started painting, my subject was naturally going to be about women because that's what I felt I really knew. And I felt that women needed to be seen. And they needed to be seen from my point of view and from my interpretation of that. So in the beginning, I was doing fashion illustration with Vogue and Marie Claire and Icon in Germany, other magazines, and then companies like Mac and other companies asked me to illustrate stories for them, and then I started doing my fine art shows, and I've shown now about 12 times in the last 14 years, which is a lot of art.
Yes.
I've shown represented in the United States by Ralph Pucci, and I've shown in his galleries in Miami and Los Angeles and in New York, and I show in Europe and in Japan.
I can go on another show with you and just talk about this, Rebecca. Like you and Mark have to come back because there's not enough time to have you guys on. I'm going to give you my rapid questions that I said that I was going to do. So, how much faith do you need to be in business?
100,000%.
Do you think that your talent's God given?
Absolutely, and I thank God every night.
Oh, love you. How should a person dress to a house of worship?
I think with some modesty and
Good answer. And a great turban, like you. That headdress, it's just, your headdress goes across every religion. I want you to know. To my Jewish viewers, to my Muslim viewers, to my Christian viewers, just get a headdress like Rebecca Moses, and you are in really good shape. I thank you so much for being on, Rebecca. You are a delight. I want everybody to know if it wasn't for Rebecca, I never would have met the great Mark Haramzada. So to me, this show is completely full circle. Thank you so much for coming, stopping by. It was really a pleasure having you.
My pleasure. Just keep doing great stuff, Toby. You're an inspiration to all.
Welcome back, visitors, to the House of Faith and Fashion Season 2 premiere with me, Toby Rubenstein. Right now, I've got my own fashion doctor herself, Dr. Ashley Radziki from St. Thomas University Fashion School. Thank you, Fashion Doctor Ashley.